Before sunrise, the world rests in a cool whisper of silence. The sky glows faintly at the edges, a thin, pale line forming where night prepares to surrender its hold. Dark silhouettes of branches stand still against the quiet horizon, their forms waiting, patient, ready for the first breath of morning. A soft haze spreads across the fields and forests, carrying with it the scent of dew and cool earth. Leaves glisten with the faintest silver, their surfaces trembling ever so slightly with the promise of light. The world feels suspended, as though holding a long, gentle inhale before the day begins. Then, in that delicate pause, a single note rises, pure, soft, clear. It floats into the stillness like a droplet of sound, falling into a tranquil pond. The note expands, and the silence opens around it. Another voice joins, then another, and the dawn chorus begins. No orchestra on earth moves with such unity, no arrangement so effortless and alive. Each bird adds its own color to the air, a trill here, a whistle there, a melody that arcs and twists like golden thread through the morning haze. Light begins its slow ascent. It spills over the horizon in thin rays, painting the land in pale gold. Branches once hidden in shadow now glow softly, every leaf catching the new warmth. Mist rises from water and grass, turning the world into a shimmering veil of light and breath. A small shape stirs on a branch. A sparrow fluffs its feathers, shaking off the remnants of night. Dewdrops scatter from its wings in tiny glittering arcs. Its chest rises once, twice, and a soft series of notes spills from its throat. A morning declaration, gentle and assured. Nearby, a robin hops along the damp earth. Its breast glows ember red in the early light, a quiet flame at the edge of the world. It pauses, listening to the growing chorus, then lifts its head and adds its own clear voice. Each call rings with purpose, as if stitching the dawn together with song. Above them, a flock of starlings takes to the air, their wings beating in soft unison. The sky catches their motion, turning each wing stroke into fleeting flashes of silver. They rise, turn, and sweep across the lightening sky, a single fluid body composed of countless small lives. Feathers shimmer in the growing brightness. Some catch the gold of dawn, others reflect blues and greens hidden deep within their structure. A feather is more than adornment. It is architecture woven with fine barbs and filaments, each one a marvel of design. In the right light, they glow with the iridescence of forgotten rainbows. A lark lifts from the tall grass. It rises straight into the air, singing as it climbs. Its notes cascade downward while its body moves upward, a beautiful contradiction made effortless by wings. It climbs higher and higher, becoming a small, moving point of song against a sky still soft with dawn. In a calm pond nearby, ripples spread as a heron steps into the shallow water. Its long legs move with slow precision, each step placed with intent. The bird's slender neck curves like a line drawn by a careful hand, and its sharp eyes scan the surface with ancient patience. When the first beam of sunlight touches its feathers, its shape becomes sculpture, elegant, quiet, and strong. A kingfisher perches above the water, its plumage a burst of blue fire in the golden morning. Light catches the metallic sheen of its back, turning it into a shard of sky perched on a branch. It waits without movement, a still flame poised above the mirrored surface. Then, with sudden grace, it dives, a streak of color and speed, and vanishes beneath the water in a brief explosion of rings. The forest edge, awakens. Finches flit among branches heavy with dew, their wings scattering droplets into tiny glowing rain. They hop from twig to twig, busy with the morning's first tasks, preening, searching, singing, each movement a delicate part of the dawn's unfolding. Rays of sunlight filter through the canopy, casting beams of brightness into the shaded undergrowth. Particles float lazily through the air, turning each sunbeam into a visible stream of gold. Within these glowing shafts, tiny insects drift quietly, and small birds dart through them like brushstrokes of color on a living canvas. A woodpecker taps rhythmically on a tall trunk, its crimson crest glowing like a flicker of flame among the green leaves. The soft percussion echoes through the still forest, announcing presence and territory with clear, confident beats. Its wings, patterned in black and white, flash as it shifts from one branch to another with controlled certainty. Near the forest floor, the air holds a cool fragrance of earth and leaf. A wren appears, tiny and curious, its feathers soft brown with delicate patterns. It hops lightly between roots and stones, pausing to tilt its head at the world around it. Its voice, despite its size, rings bright and bold, a small declaration of life's persistence. The sun now rises fully, its warmth beginning to stretch across the open fields. The sky shifts from pale blush to clear blue, with soft streaks of gold lingering near the horizon. Birds rise into this expanding light, their silhouettes crisp against the sky. Every wingbeat carries a story of survival, of grace, of unbroken connection to the wind and the world. A pair of doves glide softly overhead. Their wings create a faint, rhythmic flutter, a gentle percussion that matches the calm morning air. They land near a patch of warm stones, their bodies moving in quiet synchronicity. Their feathers catch the sunlight in subtle shades of gray and soft lavender, each tone blending seamlessly into the next like brushstrokes of cloud. Far off, larger wings stir. A hawk lifts from a distant ledge, its feathers spreading wide in a confident arc. It rises with steady intention, carried by currents invisible but precise. The sun outlines its form, turning each feather into a stroke of gold-edged bronze. Its shadow glides across the ground below, silent, effortless, a reminder that even power can move with grace. Everywhere, the air is alive with wings, fluttering, gliding, sweeping, each motion a conversation with the sky. Birds are the poetry of movement, writing lines of motion across the morning with nothing but feathers and air. The world of birds is a world of transitions, earth to sky, stillness to motion, silence to song. And in the quiet glow of dawn, this world reveals its first wonders with softness, light, and unbroken calm. Morning settles fully upon the land, and the air becomes a gentle tapestry of motion. Each wingbeat, each glide, each flutter adds another thread to the fabric of the living sky. Birds move through this light with ancient confidence, guided by instinct, rhythm, and the quiet mathematics of the wind. The rising warmth lifts delicate currents from the earth, spiraling upward in invisible columns. Small insects drift lazily in these spirals, becoming the morning feast for birds whose flight depends on such subtle offerings. The air is now a marketplace of motion, where every tiny form has its place and purpose. A swallow enters the scene like a stroke of ink drawn swiftly across the blue. Its wings curve sharply, cutting elegant arcs as it hunts through the warming air. The sunlight catches its metallic sheen, deep blue on the back, creamy white beneath, colors that shift with every tilt of its agile body. It darts, dives, and rises again, master of speed and precision, a dancer whose choreography mirrors the pulse of the day. Higher still, a kestrel hovers in place. Its wings beat rapidly but lightly, holding it perfectly suspended above the earth. The feathers at the tips flutter with purpose, adjusting position grain by grain to maintain balance in the shifting breeze. Its eyes remain fixed on the world below, scanning the grasses with unwavering focus. For a moment, it remains an emblem of stillness in motion, a shape pinned to the sky by nothing but wind and will. Below, in a meadow edged with wildflowers, color stirs in the branches of a small tree. Finches, brilliant in shades of yellow and red, flit among the blossoms, their plumage catching sunlight like petals of flame. Some hang upside down as they feed, their small bodies perfectly adapted to acrobatics among stems and leaves. Their soft chatter carries through the meadow, rising and falling like a gentle tide. A pair of bluebirds emerges from the shadows of a tall oak. They glide low across the clearing, their feathers shimmering with soft sapphire hues that deepen and fade, depending on the angle of light. Their color is not pigment alone, but structure, a miracle formed by microscopic layers that bend light into the sky's most delicate blues. When they land upon a fence post, their presence brightens the quiet around them, as though the sky itself had perched for a moment on the earth. In a nearby shrub, a cardinal shifts its stance. Its deep scarlet plumage burns against the green, a vivid contrast that captures the eye instantly. With a gentle flick of its wings, it leaps to a higher branch, its crest rising slightly as if greeting the day. Its call rings clear and flute-like, a sound that brightens the air and invites the forest into full wakefulness. At the edge of a river, a pair of ducks glides through shimmering reflections. The water mirrors the sky above, so that each stroke of their movement seems to paint the river with new colors. Their bodies move calmly, sending ripples outward in concentric rings that shine gold and silver as they drift away. Tiny insects skim the water's surface, and dragonflies flash overhead in fleeting streaks of emerald and blue. On a distant branch, a mockingbird rehearses its morning symphony. It weaves the songs of many others into a tapestry uniquely its own, a fluid blend of whistles, chirps, trills, and tones, each borrowed phrase transformed into new expression. The bird tilts its head and shifts its weight as it sings with intense clarity. Every phrase is a gift to the morning, a celebration of memory and adaptation. A soft rustle stirs in the tall grass. A quail emerges, its delicate crest bobbing gracefully with each step. Its patterned feathers blend beautifully with the golden field, designed for subtlety, for vanishing into the earth when shadows lengthen. Tiny calls echo softly from nearby, and soon a group appears behind the leader, moving in small, coordinated motions. Their presence offers a glimpse of the quiet communal lives woven through the morning landscape. The sky begins to broaden into deeper blue. Wisps of cloud drift lazily overhead, their shapes mirrored in the wings of birds that soar beneath them. Far above the treetops, a vulture spreads its vast wings, catching warm thermals with practiced ease. Its silhouette glides effortlessly, carried by invisible rivers of rising air. There is no rush, No need for constant motion, only a graceful surrender to the rhythm of the wind. A hummingbird appears like a sliver of living jewel. Its wings beat too fast for the eye to follow, creating a soft hum that vibrates like music in the still air. It hovers before a bloom, its body suspended on invisible threads of motion. The sunlight dances along its iridescent throat, painting streaks of rose, gold, and emerald with every shift of its delicate frame. It drinks, shifts, drinks again, then vanishes in a burst of speed, leaving a lingering afterimage of light. In the forest canopy, larger wings stir. A great horned owl, still lingering from its night's rain, blinks slowly in the rising day. Its tufted feathers curve gently with the breeze, its gaze steady and ancient. The early light folds softly around its mottled plumage, revealing patterns of shadow and earth. Soon, it retreats deeper into the safety of foliage, its silhouette fading into the texture of bark and leaf. Light continues to grow bolder as the morning matures. The songs of birds layer upon one another, some bright and jubilant, others low and melodic. This symphony is not rehearsed, yet it is perfect in its spontaneity. Every voice holds a story of territory, of companionship, of life woven into the heart of the land. A breeze moves through the meadow, setting tall grasses into motion. Seeds drift through the air, and birds chase them with soft, eager motions. Some take to the wind with open wings, riding it with trust and precision. Others remain close to the earth, their bodies weaving through stems and leaves in careful, fluid paths. Wings are the language of birds. Each feather is a letter, each movement a phrase, each flight a sentence written across the sky. Some wings speak with quiet beating, some with bold glides, some with rapid flickers of motion. The world reads this language constantly, in shadows on the ground, in silhouettes overhead, in the rustling of branches as birds pass through. The morning deepens into brilliance. The land is fully awake now, alive with color, sound, and breath. Birds continue their flights, gathering food, singing their territories, tending their nests, gliding through currents unseen. The sky is their home, the branches their refuge, the world their ever-changing stage. Feathers flash in every direction, gold in sunlight, blue in shadow, green among leaves, white against the open sky. Every hue holds a purpose. Every pattern tells a history. Birds carry the colors of the world upon their wings, and in morning light, those colors come alive with shimmering grace. The day stretches forward, and with it, the journey into the world of birds continues. A world built on wind, held by rhythm, shaped by flight. Midday arrives with a gentle strength. The sun rises high, casting a pure, bright light across the land. Shadows shrink beneath branches and stones, drawing close and dark, while open spaces blaze with warm brilliance. In this clarity, every motion, every feather, every leaf stands distinct and luminous. The world feels wide now, a great unfolding under the expansive sky. Air shimmers lightly above sun-warmed ground, and the wind, once crisp in morning, softens into a warm, wandering breeze that carries scents of grass, pine, and distant water. Birds adapt to this new rhythm, shifting their patterns in harmony with the height of the day. At the top of a tall tree, a nest rests like a woven cradle held securely between branches. Its structure, is a marvel of instinctive craftsmanship. Tendrils of grass, thin twigs, fragments of soft moss, and delicate feathers layered like gentle insulation. Every piece placed with purpose, every curve shaped with care. Inside, faint movement stirs. Small bodies covered in downy softness shift and stretch beneath the warm shade. Their tiny beaks open in silent request, responding to the sound of wings approaching. A parent lands lightly on the rim of the nest, bringing with it nourishment gathered from the land below. Feeding becomes a quiet rhythm, a gesture of devotion, carried out with endless patience and precision. Nearby, another nest hangs from a slender branch, as though suspended from the air itself. Its shape resembles a delicate pouch, woven intricately with grasses and fibers, chosen for their strength and flexibility. It sways softly with each passing breeze, cradling the small life within in a motion that feels ancient and familiar. Birds that build such wonders carry within them the knowledge of generations. Their instincts form patterns that repeat through time, each nest an echo of countless others built in similar light, similar seasons, long before the present day. In the meadow below, midday activity continues with unhurried determination. A flock of goldfinches moves from thistle to thistle, their bright yellow feathers glowing like small fragments of sunlight. Come to rest upon the land. They call softly to one another as they feed, their notes crisp and clear against the warmth of the afternoon. Along the riverbank, a sandpiper steps lightly across wet earth. Its movements are rapid yet precise, each step placed carefully in the shallow ripples left by flowing water. The bird's patterned feathers, a mosaic of browns and whites, blend seamlessly with the stones and sand that shape its chosen home. Wings flash in the distance as a group of cranes takes flight. Their long necks extend forward with grace, while their large wings push powerfully against the air. Each beat of those wings sends a calm ripple through the wind, and their soft calls echo gently across the open land. They glide with an effortless majesty, their bodies held by the invisible geometry that only they truly know. In the canopy, color appears like scattered jewels. Tropical birds, brilliant in blues, oranges, reds, and emeralds, move through branches thick with midday shade. Some perch on high limbs, their feathers glowing like stained glass whenever a beam of sunlight finds them through the leaves. Others hop lightly along vines with movements so delicate that they seem carried by the air itself. Every feather tells a story. Some shimmer with iridescence, their colors shifting with the angle of the sun. Others absorb light, holding deep matte tones that conceal and protect. Some patterns break up the outline of the body, offering safety among branches and shade. Others announce presence boldly, bright and unmistakable. The midday sky opens further, and high above, wings circle in graceful spirals. A group of gulls rides rising air with slow, sweeping arcs. They tilt and adjust their feathers, each subtle shift changing lift and direction. Their bodies seem weightless, as though they belong more to the wind than to the earth below. A shadow crosses the ground, broad, steady, and controlled. The flight of an eagle traces itself across the landscape, its wingspan casting a shape that feels ancient and deliberate. It glides with a quiet authority, turning the sky into a realm of wide, commanding grace. Its feathers, layered and precise, capture and shape the wind with instinctive mastery. Below, in the quiet underbrush, A thrush moves with cautious curiosity. Its speckled chest blends into dappled shade, becoming almost invisible whenever it pauses beside a root or stone. It listens intently, its eyes keen and alert, before drifting deeper into the shelter of leaves. The heat of midday draws some birds into moments of rest. A dove settles upon a branch, fluffing its feathers lightly to allow air beneath them. Its soft cooing vibrates through the stillness, a sound as gentle as the breeze itself. Nearby, in the shadow of a wide rock, a small flock of sparrows gathers for shelter. They preen, removing loose feathers with small nips, aligning each barb with careful precision. Feather maintenance is an essential ritual, a practice of care that ensures flight remains effortless and true. As the sun climbs even higher, the world takes on a warm glow. Light reflects from water, from wings, from leaves, turning each surface into a quiet source of brightness. Far above the treetop line, a group of swifts dances through the open air. They twist and curve with astonishing speed, drawing invisible patterns in the sky that shift, expand, and fold back on themselves in mesmerizing loops. Their flight is poetry in motion, a living calligraphy of wings. Birdsong continues, though softened now by the midday warmth. Some voices grow quieter, reserving energy for the tasks ahead. Others persist with gentle persistence, adding delicate notes to the stillness of the hour. Together, these sounds form a tapestry of presence, subtle, rhythmic, and deeply alive. Patterns unfold everywhere, in the swooping arcs of birds in flight, in the symmetry of feathers, in the careful architecture of nests, in the cycles that guide every motion. Birds live by these patterns, carrying ancient knowledge in their wings and renewing it with each movement. Midday holds the world in clarity. Nothing hides in this light. Colors shine, shadows deepen, and wings move with honest intention. The journey continues, into shade, into flight, into the quiet art that defines the world of birds. Afternoon stretches into a softer light. The sun leans toward the shoulder of the day, and every feather takes on the mellow gilding of return. Shadows lengthen, drawing gentle lines across fields and branches. The air cools by degrees, as if exhaling a long-held warmth. This hour moves without hurry, a slow folding of brightness into the tender palette of evening. Flight becomes more deliberate. Where morning arcs were quick with purpose, these movements carry the ease of completion. Birds glide with measured wings, coasting on currents remembered from 1,000 journeys. Some ride the wind with open flight, tracing wide, lazy ellipses above the trees. Others slip close to branches, making the last harvests of light before shade covers the land. Along hedgerows and in reed beds, parents work with patient hands. Food gathered across the day becomes a careful offering at the nest's rim. Beaks meet beaks in small, quiet transactions, and downy chicks learn the rhythm of intake and rest. There is no frenzy here, only the slow protocol of survival and care, performed with infinite tenderness. A feather smoothed back into place, a wing held over a brood like a quiet oath. The canopy takes on new colors. Greens that looked flat in the noon now glow from within, golden at their edges, deep in their pools of shade. A woodpecker's tapping turns soft and steady, a heartbeat that keeps time with the dimming day. In the distance, gulls drift low over water, their wings slicing the warm air into soft, repeated notes. Each sound becomes part of the valley's final composition for the day. Water reflects the late light like a second sky. ducks and geese move across these mirror spaces with the solemnity of ritual, leaving wakes that widen into slow, dissolving patterns. Kingfishers perch in patient silence, watching the surface's last bright threads, and then, with the economy of practiced motion, plunge and return. Small arcs of silver that punctuate the mellow scene. Feathers hold the memory of day. Barbs and barbules align themselves through careful preening. Oils distributed with nimble tongues make surfaces smooth and resilient. This maintenance is not vanity but preparation, an act that keeps flight honest and warm, that repairs the tiny injuries of living. A bird that preens is a living instrument being tuned for the next moment of motion. Across open fields, skylarks climb and sing, their notes poured outward like light itself. The songs now measure the space in softer cadences, each trill less urgent and more reflective. A blackbird's phrase winds through hedges like a ribbon, and a thrush answers from a dim, leaf-tucked place with a clear cascade of tones. Calls travel farther in this late air, clear and rounded, as if the landscape itself lends a body to each note. Thermals cool, and the great riders of the sky slow their circuits. Kites and eagles that use the afternoon heat for long, effortless glides begin to fold their wings in patient descent, returning toward favored perches. Their approach is unhurried, a sovereign finishing of a long day's work. Perches that held the light now become vantage points for stillness. In hedgerows and scrub, small birds gather for communal rest. Sparrows, tits, and finches flit into dense shelter, where leaves and twig lattice form a hush that will hold the night's first cool. The group settles like a soft cloud, wings tucking, heads tucking further still, and the collective breath slows to the rhythm of the earth beneath them. A soft wind moves through reed and cattail, and the resulting sound is a low reed-like chorus that stitches together sky and ground. It is the desertion of silence in motion, a music made of gentle friction and the rustle of small lives turning inward. This sound becomes the evening's drone, a comfortable, constant companion to the last light. At the water's edge, reflections deepen. Herons stand like patient columns, their bodies statues in soft motion. A flash of white from a passing egret becomes the day's punctuation, and then stillness resumes, as if the scene had never changed at all. Under these mirrored skies, the river reads the sky's lowering tone and lowers its voice to match. Colors in plumage take on a solemnity now, where earlier iridescence flashed like celebration. The same surfaces hold the warmth of mellowed sun. Blues cool to dusk soft indigo. Golds mellow into honey. Reds take on a deep embered hue. Feathers reflect not just light, but memory, the accumulated geometry of a day lived in wind and weather. Migration lines begin to show their intention. Small groups rise up, aligning like handwriting across the sky, their motion economical and purposeful. Each bird in these lines responds to a neighbor's subtle shift. The formation slides across the horizon like a single thought, stretched thin and long. There is a quiet majesty in this choreography, a reminder that even long distances are navigated in calm, ordered steps. In a thicket, night-leaning birds practice a different music, the soft click and call of settling appetite. They trade small calls that say, without drama, that comfort will be found here. Sometimes a single clear whistle punctuates the thin air, answered by a responsive echo from far among the trees. These are the small signals that stitch the landscape into a community at dusk. The last slant of light finds high places first. Ridgetops and tall branches keep a final glow, as if the sun lingers to bless them. A lone hawk rests where wind shapes the earth most clearly, and below fields fold into shadow in measured layers. The world's edges recede into thoughtful softness. Feeding slows and reflection grows. Birds that hunted across the day now return with tummies full and feathers damp. Young ones nestle close. The cadence of life narrows to small rhythms, a beak smoothing a chick's down, a wing shade over a fledgling, the tiny murmur of settling breath. The land itself seems to lower its pulse to match. As evening deepens further, a new chorus takes form, the soft, prolonged calls of owls returning to the fringe of day, the tentative chirp of late insects, the distant, mournful note of a curlew preparing for the night's watch. These sounds do not carry a sense of darkness, but of boundary, a soft, respectful marker between bright motion and restful pause. Feathers fold, wings tuck, and the architecture of nests shows its final intent. Cradles of grass and twig, close round sleeping shapes, pouches and platforms become rooms of shelter against the cooler air advancing. Every nest is an economy of care, chosen materials layered precisely to trap warmth, deflect wind, and hold the small lives inside. The last golden threads of sunlight slide across the low horizon. They pass through the trees and dissolve into the cool blue that gathers above. For an instant, the world is held between two lights, the residue of day and the preface of evening. And in that suspended moment, perception quiets to a pure, attentive stillness. Breath becomes the measure of being. The gentle rise and fall of wings in sleep, the tiny intake of a chick's chest, the slow, contented blink of an adult bird. These are the quiet metronomes of life conserved. Attention softens. Thoughts, if they appear, arrive like moths, gentle and unobtrusive, then pass. No abrupt ending comes. The day unwinds its threads and lays them down with care. The sky shifts through a subtle gradient, gold to rose, rose to pale lavender, and the land receives each shade with the gratitude of a homecoming. The birds, those fragile architects of motion, become caretakers of the night that is not yet, guardians of a space that will continue to hold whatever comes next. And still, even as light cools, there remains a promise in motion. Wings have learned the music of this place. Feathers have stored the memory of sun and wind. Nests have been tended and sealed for rest. All that has been moved through the day, song, flight, feed, shelter, continues its quiet, unbroken cycle. The last call threads outward, a clear, low note that gathers itself into the air and then fades, like a small bell struck at distance. It leaves behind an echoing calm, and in that calm, a final awareness settles, not alarm, not longing, but the satisfied hush of a day well traveled. This is the close that the world of birds prefers, not a dramatic curtain, but a soft folding of sound and light into a continuity that will resume with the next turning of sun and wind. The day's bright movements gather into patient shapes, and the sky keeps its shallow glow, promising the return of motion when morning again draws breath. Here, where feathers meet wind, motion melts into memory, and the gentle architecture of life holds steady. The world listens, rests, and prepares, content, sustained, and quietly brave in its ongoing passage through light. Subscribe to Most Beautiful for softly narrated journeys through water, sky, forest, and quiet light, where nature becomes meditation, where calm never ends, it flows.